I feel so honored to be here with all of you amazing people. This movement of families choosing to travel the world together and live more intentionally is exploding. And we are here at the launch pad together. Very exciting time to be alive. And some of you are here because you are thirsting to live your travel dreams. You maybe have a 9-to-5 job and a long commute every day, and you know there's something better, and you want that for your family. And that's why you're here. Some of you are here because you want more time to connect more deeply with your children and your spouse. Some of you are here to learn what the world has to teach you through experiencing the world. And some of you maybe were brought here by a friend or a spouse who wants to do this crazy travel the world thing, and you're just here to verify that they're not insane. And some of you here have been traveling for a very long time, and you're here to tap into this awesome community and connect with people, sharing your experiences, learning from others, and help inspiring others on their journey. Some of you are here to learn how to increase your income so that you can live more location independently. And some of you may not know why you're here at all, but just by coming here, showing up, bringing your best self, you'll learn something or you'll share something with someone else that'll change your life or their lives. And that's why you're here. To all of you, you are in the right place. And I invite you to really be here this weekend and immerse yourself in everything that we have going on for you. So how many of you raise your hand if this is the first time you have attended a conference like this with your family? This is great. You're in for such a treat. And how many of you, if you would please stand, have come to the conference within the past week or more from outside of the US or Canada? Please stand, our international attendees. Look around the room, yeah. Give them a round of applause. It takes a lot to get here. You know, we have some amazing people in this room. I don't know if you know, we have some of the longest and most well-traveled families in the world in this room. We have in this room families who are committed to living more presently, more intentionally with their kids and giving them that focused attention that they need during these years. We have families in this room who have demonstrated enough courage to sell their house, sell their possessions, travel across the world, live nomadically, sail around the globe, travel in a small vehicle, bike across continents. I mean, there are some amazing people in this room, and doing that with their kids, I should say. We have people in this room who are millionaires and entrepreneurs who have created businesses of various sizes. And we have in this room families who have mastered the skill of stretching their dollar to the point where travel almost becomes free. So we are all in the presence of greatness here this weekend. And I know that you guys will see that as you start interacting with each other and get to know each other here. So I hope you'll take that opportunity. Now, some of you don't know me, so let me take a few minutes to share a bit about my story and how I got here. So I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, trying to do everything that I was supposed to do. I got married, I got a job, I graduated college, I bought a house with a mortgage, and 10 years ago, we were living in suburban America with our 2 kids, wondering what we had gotten ourselves into. We were comfortable, but we weren't fulfilled. We knew there was more to life than what was around us, and we wanted to travel and see what the world could teach us by immersing ourselves in different environments and new people. But it seemed impossible. I had a job that I had to go to. I had bills to pay, a house to take care of. We had responsibilities in the family, in extended family, and in the community. And a lot of things that just kept us tied to that same location. But we could see the trajectory of our lives. And we knew that where the path we were on would lead, because that's where we saw so many other people going. We would get a bigger house, and we'd get a nicer car, and we'd load up our house with possessions, and we wouldn't feel any more fulfilled than we already were. I knew that. I knew it. And I knew I would die a slow death if I kept doing the same thing with the same people in the same place every day, year after year after year. But I was still terrified to make a change Any of you been there before? Where you knew you wanted to do something different, but you just didn't have, you didn't make it happen. You didn't do it, yeah. Well, we got a special kick in the pants to get us started on our journey. This is Kim, my mother-in-law, holding her grandchild. Shortly after this photo was taken, we found out she was diagnosed with cancer. And a short 18 months later, she passed away. Anyone here ever lost a loved one before? Yeah. It can affect a lot of areas of life, can't it? Well, I wasn't even 30 at the time. But to me, 50 still seemed like way too young to die. And as I sat reflecting upon this tragic loss, I finally came to realize something for myself that may seem obvious to some of you, but that life can be very short. I don't know when my time is. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. And at that time, I committed myself to making the most of my life now and to living fully now while I still had the chance, so that when I do die, it will be without regrets. And one of the things I knew we'd regret was staying in the same place our whole lives. So we began dreaming about a new future of where we could go as a family and what we were going to do. We started looking into Central America and other places that we were excited by. And as we started to share this idea with our family and friends, some of them thought we were crazy. They would say things like, you know, it's so dangerous out there with all the criminals and the kidnappers and the drug dealers. Aren't you worried about your kids? Or, you know, it's kind of irresponsible, isn't it, to leave the comforts of the modern society we live, to go live in some dirt floor place and get diseases. Any heard that story before? Okay. It was hard to face, but this is what we knew we needed to do for our family. It felt right to us. So I already had an online business, and I started working harder to develop it and build it up to the point where it could support us on our travels. I worked longer hours and harder on that business at that time than any other time. And as we got closer to the possibility of actually being able to make this travel dream a reality, I started to get nervous, or maybe even overwhelmed at the crazy amount of logistics that were involved in planning a trip. Well, first of all, what are we going to do with our house? And then all of our stuff. And then there's school for the kids. And where are we going to go? And where are we going to stay? And what do we eat when we get there? And just all of these questions. Anyone ever felt that? Yeah. Whew. So fortunately, my amazing wife, Jen, continued to remind me through this time that this is something that felt right for our family now. And she knew we could overcome all of these challenges. So we continued pushing through. But to make sure this is something we wanted to do, we decided to test the waters by taking a 6-week trip to Panama. Our daughters at the time were 5 and 3 years old. And man, what a great experience. We bonded more in those 6 weeks together than we had their entire lives. We wandered at the Panama Canal, we visited an indigenous tribe, and saw new ways of living, and met people who had different ideas that opened our minds to new ways of thinking. Now, being together 24/7, we also started seeing the world more through our children's eyes. And we began appreciating the smaller things in life more. So when we came back home, we tried to keep that same wonderful feeling we had in Panama with us. But it was just, we couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. Maybe the surrounding culture was pulling us in so many different directions. But eventually we realized that we weren't done traveling. And we were ready for a new way of living as a family. So over the next year, we sold our house. We sold almost everything we owned. We moved in with my grandma for a little while. And in January 2010, we took our carry-on luggage and moved to Costa Rica. Now, at this point, people knew we were crazy. But we no longer cared because we were living from our hearts and feeling so much more connected as a family than ever before. We lived in Costa Rica for almost 2 years. Every 90 days, we would travel to another surrounding country to renew our visa. And our third daughter, Asia, was also born in Costa Rica. We named her Asia after the country Malaysia, where we plan to go next. Since then, we've gone on to visit and live in 36 different countries. And it's been an amazing ride. Gradually, we began changing as people. Our beliefs about who we were and about how we fit into the world began to expand. And our perspectives about so many things shifted as our understanding increased through the new experiences we were having. And as we changed, so did our relationships. Some of the stale relationships in our lives fell out. But to replace them came even more fulfilling, supportive relationships to fill the gaps. Many of them are here today. And even though we've been doing this for 8 years, we are still being transformed by the things we're learning every day through our travels. Because I believe that travel is one of the greatest catalysts for personal growth, transformation, and family bonding. Travel expands our capacity for learning and understanding and connection. At the same time, it accelerates our learning and our growth. Who here feels like travel has changed them in some way? I love it. Yeah, why? How does travel do that? Well, I believe that there's something powerful about putting yourself in a new environment where your beliefs can be challenged and where you can see that your way isn't necessarily the only right way, and where you can meet people who appear different than you and think differently than you, yet who exude the same genuine humanity that you possess. I think that's one of the biggest lessons, the biggest ways that travel has changed me personally. Now, the fact that you're here shows that you're the kind of person who is committed to living your dreams. You're not going to let fear or anything hold you back. And this conference is a place where I hope that you can feel supported and encouraged and inspired in your dreams. We'll get into some of the how-tos, of course, and travel logistics and best practices. But like travel in general, this conference is a place to expand your mind. It's a place to rethink what's possible for you and the kind of life that you want to live, and to help you find the courage and the motivation to make it happen. So you don't need to wait like I did for the death of a loved one to make a big change in your life. And you're here taking big steps forward today. But even if you don't end up traveling as a result of this conference, even if you don't get anything out of this conference other than a greater commitment to connect more deeply with your children, to be more present with your family, and to follow your heart wherever your life takes you, you will have gotten everything. You will have gotten everything. Because, even though we talk about the benefits of travel at this conference, I want you to know something important, that it might sound a bit contradictory to some of the other stuff I'm saying, but it's an important lesson that has, I think, essential to understanding in order to enjoy the journey along the way. One of the biggest lessons I've learned in my travels, ready for a shocker? Travel won't make you happy. Of course, just like buying a big house won't make you happy, right? You'll get a temporary buzz from it. You'll enjoy the novelty of it. But while travel can't make you happy, one thing it can definitely teach you is that while happiness doesn't necessarily come from your possessions, from things you buy, lasting happiness also doesn't necessarily even come from the awe-inspiring experiences you have. Travel teaches you that happiness is a choice that we make in each moment of our lives. How many of you follow? Yeah, happiness comes when we bring it with us. So, I invite you to bring your best, most joyful selves to the conference this weekend, and let's create the kind of joyful, loving, supportive, connected environment we want in our lives here at this conference. Who's with me? Yeah. Who's going to bring their best, most joyful selves this weekend and say, I will? Woo! Awesome. I am so excited to spend the next 3 days with you guys. Who's ready for an awesome time at the Family Adventure Summit?